This KFAN podcast is sponsored by Builders and Remodelers, exclusive Twin Cities provider of Elements Windows. Get the highest quality windows at unmatchable value. Visit buildersandremodelers.com for more details. And
goes back to pass, throws to the end zone, and it's caught for a touchdown for the LA Chargers. And it's Oronde Gadsden II, a fifth-round rookie tight end from Syracuse, has caught touchdowns in successive weeks. And unofficially, the Chargers are taking a 6-0 lead.
Yeah, he put a...
Minnesota 1 of 2 on third down. This is a doozy. 3rd and 11 from their own 17. Carson Wentz claps to the ball and he gets it. Goes back to pass, and now he is sacked. Back at the 8-yard line. Herbert under center. Handoff to Vidal, left side. Runs into a host of Vikings, but then he bounces off that and rolls into the end zone. Touchdown, LA Chargers. That is their first rushing touchdown of the 2025 season. 2nd and 10, Herbert with a back to his left out of the shotgun. Fade, right side, end zone, caught, touchdown, Ladd McConkey, who blew by Jeff Okudah like he was tied to a post. Tight end in motion to the left of Herbert. He rolls out to the right, looking to the end zone. Now he's between the hash marks, flicks it to the end zone, and it's caught. Touchdown, LA Chargers. That is Trey Harris, the Mississippi rookie, with his first National Football League touchdown reception. Herbert has thrown 3, and the Chargers lead 30-10. Wentz goes back to pass, throws a fastball to the right side. That fastball went right to a member of the LA Chargers. It's an interception with a pass intended for Jefferson. R.J. Mickens, that Clemson rookie, picked it off, and he returned it 15 yards, just like that.
651 Carpets Plus Studios. It's a beautiful Friday. It's a Friday football famine, in some ways based on what took place last night. We're still going to have fun. I got the sunshine outside. I got a little sunshine in studio with Chad Greenway at Chad Greenway 52 via X. How you doing, man?
Man, I'm doing well. You know what? All we can do, the sun's out. The sun came up this morning. It was an absolute grind last night. Yeah, I don't know if it's a famine, but man, is it tough. It's tough sledding right now. You go out west and you lay that thing out there, and there's nowhere to hide from it. You can't excuse it away. It's you laid an egg. The thing you're looking at this football team is this is not the football team that we signed up for day one, right?
No, it is not.
The injuries have decimated this team offensively and defensively. Now, it's not an excuse. It's just the reality of this league. And sometimes it goes like that. And I'm excited to see. I'm very, very excited, actually. Looking forward to this next month. 3 divisional games, 2 on the road. What are we made of?
Yes.
What are we made of? At the end of the day, like, whether I know this isn't youth sports as a talker last night, right? We're glad they had fun. This is pro sports. But I want to see what our football team is made of. I want to see what leaders step up and go to Detroit and get a win.
You think there were orange slices and maybe some lemonade?
First of all, there were orange slices last night in the locker room. I can promise you that. And the orange slice is an underrated halftime snack.
It's delicious.
It's wonderful. Yeah. I had it every game. But after the game, the orange slices didn't come back out. There was no popsicles after that thing.
Probably not. And frankly, our favorite football team, well, they didn't earn them. to be honest with you.
Them.
Throughout 9 to noon today, before we dig deep into this with Chad Greenway, Grey Duck Spirits, by the way, Grey Duck Vodka, Grey Duck Seltzers. There's probably some new bits going on with the duck.
That solves a problem too, by the way. Grey Duck Spirits. I mean, we're there on a high, we're there on a low. We'll pull you through.
All moods.
All moods.
In moderation, of course, responsibly. There's some sort of disclaimer, I'm sure, a part of that. But to you, the listener, text, talkback, 64686, Bradshaw and Bryant, KFAN text line, the talkback machine via the free iHeartRadio app. Kind of a truncated fan line. We still tried to roll until about 12:30 or 1 last night, but
I heard. Did you sleep?
It got late. No, I got a couple hours.
Is this going to be? Let's just call it the vent line. Let's call it the vent line again this morning. Let's just go to that. That's what we're going to get.
And the host himself, who returned to Minneapolis quite early this morning, like 4:30ish or something like that. He's coming back. He's going to be in at 11. So we'll dig into it with the host, but. But to you, Chad Greenway, I kind of want to start with this. As a former player, there has to be a level of respect that you have. Covenant claps is what we do 9 to noon. Carson Wentz, for better or worse, is one of the toughest. I mean, I can't believe that.
You know, you watch him play last night, and obviously, you know, the camera zooms right in on the helmet, right? You see the anguish and the pain, and to me, what's more impressive. Again, we all know the story. He's bounced around, high pick. I mean, he is what he is, right, from a quarterback perspective. But the way he approaches the lack of excuses at the end of a game, he's like, no, it wasn't affecting me. It didn't affect me on that throw. It didn't affect me on the overthrow. It is what it is. I made a mistake. I got to play better. You can't run from this stuff that's going on. You just got to lean into it. And, like, you know, people that listen and say, yeah, he's saying what he's got to say to get through the media and the press conference. Absolutely. Because all you can do is take the next step forward. And he knows he makes a mistake. There's nobody on planet Earth that want to make that throw more than Carson Wentz. Yeah. You make a mistake, you move on. It's a reaction sport. But the fact that he's not leaning into, I'm dealing with this thing. Look how tough I am. He's just talking about anything beyond that. And when it comes down to this team, and I love Justin Jefferson's approach last night too in the presser or in the locker room afterwards is, leaders got to step up, and this is his moment. Yeah. He is our superstar, and he has acted like it in the best way possible. He's been a team leader. He's been a figurehead. He's the highest paid. Name all the things. Now's your time. It is the leader's time. It might be the kid QB's time. I do want to get to that because as much as I'm giving covenant claps to Carson, the experience needs to end. I mean, frankly, they had to peel him off the turf, and he's not going to bring himself out of the game. For the sake of humanity, let's be humane to Carson and in some ways save him from himself. Have you seen the Scott Sterling bit when he just keeps getting hit in the face with the volleyball repeatedly over and over and over again? And he keeps saying that's Carson Wentz last night. But he's still up for it. But we wanted to see, who I kind of wanted to see Brosmer. What was your take on that last night? Well, my take there were. Well, yeah, you know what? We'll just dig into. Am I jumping the gun? No, it's fine. So I'm neurotic and weird, and after a decade plus of putting notes together for PA, I write my notes out and I kind of try to tell a story. Yeah. But this is good. And I'm clomping all over it. And that's terrific. You're the guest, and it's your dealer's guest choice. Here's the deal, man. 5 rushing attempts in the first half. Disastrous. I don't even care. You're down 14-3. You had to establish the run against a team that averaged $140 against them over the last 5 at 5 a clip. Oh, we're so excited to have Showtime back. Aaron Jones, and from the first snap with a bad throw on a swing pass to him, forget about it. So there were 2 third downs. 3rd and 1 at your own 41. This is a team, historically, I've tried to chronicle it 9 to noon several times. You got to run the freaking ball. This at one point, it was 22 or 23. They were like a 70% passing team on 3rd and 3 or shorter. That's just not going to work. And it's an incomplete pass on 3rd and 1 at the 41. And they punt. I mean, at that stage, like if you're throwing it at that stage, that's got to be 2-play party. So that's part 1. Now I'm getting to the point where you're talking about Brosmer. Later on in the first half, it's the 3rd and 2 at the 47. And it's a pass play again. And once again, predictable as we are in that regard, it's batted up in the air. Carson Wentz can't lift his left arm. He can't lift his left arm, man. And so he bats the thing down, and he's holding on to, and don't worry,
Ryan Wright's on to punt. Okay, so don't worry about that, Vikings fans. The plus-size punter getting his work in. In my opinion, that's late stages. I don't have the game clock, the play-by-play in front of me. That was when the experience needed to end. And it's not about hating on Carson Wentz.
Yep.
But that needed to be Max Brosmer for the remainder of the game. And I am exceptionally disappointed that Brosmer was effectively thrown. I mean, well, not effectively. He was thrown in with 2 minutes left, low impact stuff. Just get a couple of plays in. Let's drill this clock out and let's go home unhappy and try to put the pieces back together over the mini bye. Brosmer needed to come in at that stage for me. Yeah,
and I think when you look at the run game specifically, you talk about that, is when you don't have confidence in the people, the 5 guys up front and the tight end extension onto that, because we had, you lose Oliver again last night. Now you have 3 old linemen that are now out. Yes, you get your running back, but we have to be on the same page and we have to be able to block these things up, these looks up, and be confident on a 3rd and 1, on a 3rd and 2, that we're going to go get that.
Yeah.
And when you don't make that play call multiple times, it's because you just don't have confidence in your guys to go get it done at the end of the day. And you can talk about lack of creativity. You can put us on the coaches, you put on the players. The reality is, it just is what it is. Sure. And it didn't happen. We didn't get the first down. And I just don't like this mentality of we're gonna try to make this throw, we incomplete, we're punting it. It's like I feel like the mentality of we're gonna run this thing, and then the mentality of do we need to go for it on a 4th down to create an edge and create some momentum on the road. Yes, it can backfire 100%, but sometimes you playing not to lose rather than to win. It's a whole mentality. And again, I'm not questioning KOC. I mean, he's done it for a long time and done a good job at it. The reality is like when you got to look at where the mental state of your football team is. And when you go back to that with Wentz, is when do you pull the plug? And in KOC's presser last night, he's talking about how he's a pro. He's gonna get to call his shot of when he can no longer make the throw. Now you have a guy who's played on 6 teams the last 6 years. He wants to go out and prove that he can play because he's basically playing for his NFL career.
Basically,
so he's not gonna at any point say, "Coach, I'm done. Pull me." Tap the head and say, I need a break. He's just not going to do it. So when you put that in his hands, we know the decision he's going to make.
Yeah, and we heard it during the presser last night. And that's the thing. It's not about questioning KO. Tons of respect for him. Love that he's our coach and all the good things that he's done. And still so much to be done, frankly. But to that end, you mentioned it, is he talked about it in his presser last night that he didn't feel like he wanted to. Let me find kind of the paraphrase from my notes. He was worried about putting the rookie in that tough spot, and he said he thought about it a few different times.
Yeah.
I wonder if he thought about it while did you see you were watching on the TV, right?
Yep.
How about that shot? And it's not their fault, by the way. And I love Josh McCown, but when they're just sitting there on the sideline yucking it up, I can't imagine. I mean, just great jokes on the sideline.
That's a tough look. That's a tough look in that situation.
They're just getting thrashed.
It's just maybe sometimes you just got to laugh about it and move on.
Yes,
I mean, now the nature of the beast in the NFL is we talk about what happened last night is all you can do is look forward. And we have no idea who we're going to have at our disposal when we go to Detroit and play one of the best teams in football on the road, a place that we have not won in 3-4 years. These next 4 are going to determine our season without question.
Right.
You're sitting there almost at the midway point here, a couple games to get there. The season's still in front of you.
Yep.
But and again, you can just tell when they're talking about their football team, mainly the head coach last night, he's almost like, what do you do when I don't have my guys?
Yep.
I mean, it's not one. You talk about Van Ginkel on defensive line and our ability to stop the run. And at this point, with our inability to stop the run consistently, you start to question, is this now a personnel issue rather than a schematic issue? Is it just, we can't be making that many mistakes defensively. Guys are in gaps. Guys are in spots to make tackles. We're not making plays. Now you don't have Van Ginkel, which is a big spot in this 3-4 defense, especially to stop the run on 1st and 2nd down. It affects things. We know what he's capable of. We know the big plays he's capable of making. We're not getting those plays made. I thought Grenard played well last night, and of course he gets rolled up on near the end of the game.
How hard? I mean, it's crazy how hard he's working, man. I mean, he's beating double teams, and he's coming from all over on that defense, and he did get rolled up on with the ankle. I'm basically like Grenard he's the energy bug and apparently the hardest working guy on that field right now for our favorite football team. Him and Jalen Redmond.
Yep.
Of all people. Yeah. Just 2 guys, and he's all effort.
Been playing well.
He's all energy. and even really starting to truly pop, I think, last week against the Eagles. And then what I saw from him at times last night, I wonder how much the personnel has changed. I wonder, the health situation, bringing that back to the O-line for a second, though. I am curious what your thoughts are. You had a knee earlier in your career, and just kind of this saga with Christian Darrisaw. Mm-hmm. And Darrisaw's high-end, super talented, and it's not necessarily about questioning Christian, but what I'm seeing here, and maybe you battled it, maybe you didn't. I have no idea. I'll ask you. The mental side of returning from the knee, because he's cleared medically, comes back, we put him on that pitch count, we got to work out, in some ways you're re-strengthening that area. He also probably has about 100 pounds on you, so maybe, apples and oranges to some respects in terms of the rehab, and maybe the injury itself could have been different in terms of ligaments and such. But to that end, you get through the bye, makes all the snaps in the Eagles game, and then we see this massive pullback to the point where I think he played 9 snaps last night. And even prior to the game, he's got 5 different coaches around him. Like, are you good? What's going? Is there a mental aspect in addition to the physical aspect that has to be tackled when you're returning from something like that? Yeah,
I was unfortunate enough to have 2 ACLs, one in college, one in the pros, and I think the mental part of it is
same one or separate?
Separate one. Wow, that was super fun.
So
love that.
Matching scars.
Yeah, matching scars, the double zippers. When you talk about the mental part of an injury, it is. You can't play in the NFL by just dipping your toe in the water. I mean, you got to be mentally fully prepared and fully ready to go. So the mental side of this is if you're not able to go out there and just rip the Band-Aid off and just go and play free and not think about it, if you're considering that joint on every rep while dealing with the best pass rusher from the other team, you got your hands full mentally.
Yeah.
Now, we don't know what's gone on. We don't know that if he got dinged up again, if he's got something going on, maybe he's got some swelling in the joint, doesn't feel comfortable. We don't know that. When it comes to the injury report, you'll see what's going to be posted. But what else is going on where maybe it's a physical piece of it too, where maybe he's had a little bit of a setback. Maybe he's got dinged up again. Maybe he's getting some swelling in the joint. So he's not fully back. And when you get swelling in the joint, you don't feel like yourself. And then what's better, having a 75% Darrisaw or the alternative school? So it's like it just comes down to he's got to make that decision. He's getting paid a lot of money to do what he's doing, and he has the right to make that call with his own body. Now the reality is I'm guessing it's a little piece of both, but it's hard. I mean,
I just wonder if there's a mental thing.
The mental
in addition
aspect,
to swelling and such.
The mental aspect, to me, has to be there. It has to be there in some respects. That he does not want to get back to the spot he was a year ago, where he's starting all over again.
Because he knows his ACL's been repaired.
Yep.
Right. He knows that from a medical.
But you don't feel. To me, it was always about 12 to 14 months post-surgery.
There you go.
Is when I felt like I can go. For me, my NFL one, it was, had the full year IR happened in August. So it was during preseason game. I had a full year to recover, 12 months. Like where I'm back, I'm going through off-season OTAs. I'm going through the summer program. I'm working out. I'm going to full training camp, coming back and playing against Joey Harrington and the Falcons. And
at least it was against Harrington.
Yeah. And you feel like you're completely back where I could go out there and just fully cut it loose because I was already past a year. I was like 13 months when I stepped on the field for the first time. And I do think this takes longer than people think. Like, yes, I am physically able to go, but man, when I wake up and when I go out to play, do I feel like I'm actually myself again?
And there could still be, as you mentioned,
lingering
some of that swelling.
Yeah.
Yep. And so to that end, I just want Darrisaw to feel good.
Yeah.
And when he's in, he plays good. Tough moment. He got run around a little bit last night. Probably why he only played 9 snaps because he's still feeling something. But I just picture like you're either in or you're out from the standpoint of, school's got to jump from the right to the left, the discombobulation of the O-line, now the 16 or 17 different combinations.
I wish people could realize how hard that is. I mean, I didn't play offensive line.
Seems insane.
Just to go from right to left, from footwork to the freaks you're dealing with on the defensive line these days that are, all a 6'5", 270, you can run 4.5, and you're coming off the edge. It's impossibly hard to put into words how hard this is until you're out there at field level playing. But again, they're pros. And again, just because we're playing with our backups does not mean we shouldn't be more competitive on the road.
Right.
And I think back to how one play can flip a game and our inability to get off the field on third down in that first drive when we get that interception, pick six overturned.
How deflating is that?
It's deflating because of the outcome of that drive. To me, if we make them punt, we get the ball back at the 40 yards, and here we go.
Yeah, you kind of wipe it clean.
We get the quarterbacks on the field. Our offense is going. We don't all of a sudden this 92, 94-yard drive. Wear down the defense on the first possession, playing from behind, which we've done more than 29 other teams this year, playing from behind. So all these factors layered in, you lose Darisaw 9 plays in. You just kind of keep taking the punches. Now, again, you got to react. You got to respond. It's the NFL, man. There's nowhere to hide.
I mean, you can still probably ball in some pickup hoops or something like that in the Y, but you're a little bit older now.
I'm giving the Vikings 15 snaps if they need it.
Well,
Flores, if you need me, can't play Van Ginkel's position. There's too much contact. I don't want that anymore. 70
plays last night. The Vikings defense was on the field for 70 plays, nearly 40 minutes of game time. How exhausting is that? Because after just run through it. This is cursory stuff. Anybody can see this, of course, but I'm just thinking about how they just systematically grinded us into dust last night. The pick six doesn't go the right way for us. That's a 14-play, 83-yard drive, 7.5 minutes. We end up punting. They come back with another 8-play, 59-yard drive. We answer with a field goal. You have a 9-play, 94-yard drive in 3 and change towards the end of the first half. And I mean, the list goes on. 12 plays, 73. We finally get that TD. That 6-play, 26-yard drive after the interception. And they go 12 and 73 and just close the door on us. Those long drives, man, and just that's very atypical of what I'm thinking when I got Flores' defense out there. Even without Van Ginkel, at some point, I trust in Flores to pull that feather out of his cap and have the right answer in a certain spot. And whether it was those few plays last week against Philly and then last night really in totality, man, 400 yards off. Kamani Vidal ran for 200 yards on us.
Yeah.
Or as a group they did, I should say. That was nutty, man. I mean, just exhausting it must have been.
Yeah, and you look, what was the third downs in the first half? I mean, they were what?
Well, they were 9 of 13 in the game.
Yeah, 5 of 6 in the first half.
Yes,
I mean, something crazy.
And they've been one of the best all season.
Which also tells me, though, is like when you're allowed Vital to be such an impact player in the run game, and obviously the way we were killed with Herbert and his feet last night. I mean, just extending drives.
Yeah.
And those are exhausting plays. You cover for 4, 5, 6, 7 seconds. He gets out of the pocket. You go chase him down. You wrangle him for a 12-yard gain, first down, line up and now go play against the run again. Like, what you don't do in training camp is a 94-yard, 15-play drive. You don't practice that. So where's your conditioning and cardio? Now there's the physical part of we being wore down in the second half when all of a sudden we score 24-10. Here we come. Oh, by the way, like I'm so ground to dirt for my first half physically, but also the mental piece of we can't stop them on the ground.
I'm such a rube. When we got that touchdown, I'm like, all right, let's get a stop.
Easy peasy.
Let's get a stop. Let's push it the other way. Suddenly it's a touchdown game and we're on to something. I couldn't help myself.
When you have the weapons that you have offensively, then you realize it's just every time we drop back a three-step, 5-step, that there's just nothing there.
Yeah. You mentioned just that making time with his legs. We saw that with Jalen Hurts as well. Second chance passing. I think it was either Bursic or Lieber that kind of coined it that way. We saw a ton of it last night. And it was Metellus. I almost feel bad for Josh Metellus. The first touchdown for the Eagles, opening drive, I believe, was one of those situations where Metellus is caught defending A.J. Brown. And it was initially just kind of towards the sticks on an out route. And Jalen gets to move outside the pocket, and then it's street ball, right? He points at AJ towards the house, and that's where he went, and it was a score. Then there was one last night, I think it was the Harris touchdown late, is you get the initial pressure, and Herbert is able just to juke in and out. He's bouncing around a little bit. Metellus is stuck covering another receiver for 5 real-time seconds, and shocking, the receiver was able to find his way open and score that touchdown, man. I mean, just... Is it too simplistic with what you've seen for me to just say, until this pass rush improves, man, until I get my money's worth on Hargrave and Allen, until Van Ginkel comes back, our first-round draft pick from a couple years ago basically did a college-style like missile launch at Herbert's head at one point, and that's the only time I saw him all game, Dallas Turner. Like, this pass rush is just not good enough. Grenard can't do it all by himself.
Yeah, man. Do you think back to the few years I got to play with the Williams wall, and then just the defensive line pressure we were able to get with.
Was that pretty fun?
with Pat, Kevin, you have Jared Allen on the outside rushing, Ray Edwards rushing, Brian Robinson comes in there. When you're able to limit teams' run game, 50 yards a game, I think we were 58 at one point one year. When you're able to limit that from a rush to cover standpoint, we've now got you in 3rd and 8. We know what's coming.
Yeah.
Jared's going to pin his ears back. Kevin Williams is going to pin his ears back and go rush. We're going to bring Everson Griffin off the bench and put him in a 3 technique to rush the quarterback. It's pretty fun to sit back in coverage in a zone, not even have to play man coverage, and just let those guys hunt. And that's the situation where rush and cover always work together. You want to be really good in the back end, have a great pass rush.
Yeah.
You want to be good up front and get your pass rush home, we'll have guys that can cover in the back end. And with the Zimmer teams I was a part of for those 3 years, had a really nice combination of being able to play and sit in man coverage and have the guys outside that could do it so your pass rush could get home and win. Again, sort of the opposite way that we had early in my career with Ray and Jared and Kevin. Like, those guys were getting after it. I mean, there was times
Ray Edwards in 09.
Yeah. I mean, he had some years. But when you sit back and you cover 2 little zone that Coach Frazier or Coach Tomlin was playing, and by the time you get back to your drop, Jared's hitting somebody in the back of the head. You're like, okay, this is pretty nice. I can cover this guy because it's only 3 seconds. Then all of a sudden, you go play a guy like Rodgers, and all of a sudden, he's rolling out of the pocket and back in 08, 09, and he's making plays. Now this becomes a lot harder. Yeah. Now I'm what we call plastering, right? Quarterback gets out of the pocket. You're supposed to plaster at the nearest receiver. And I should not be on a receiver ever in coverage. Metellus has a much better chance than I did, but the reality is I'm not going to win that, and neither is he. And that's just the situation football gets you in.
Let me ask you this: seven games in, and then we're going to pause, and then I got a couple more Vikings talkers for you, and then we got to hit the game, man.
Yeah,
Iowa City this weekend. It's Kinnick.
Yeah. Should we just go? Just tell the old ladies, hey, we're out of here. We're road tripping.
I heard the tailgating experience down there is tremendous.
It is tremendous. It is Iowa City on game day is special. The Gopher fans and Hawkeye fans will get along just fine before that game in the parking lots, and they can yell at each other during the game.
So 7 games in, talking about identity of this team.
Yeah.
Until the Chargers are uber injured at multiple spots. Derwin James, I think, left the game at some point. They're trotting Joe Alt, Totino Grace's finest out there, and he's got I think he's either a foot or an ankle. Trey Pipkins, Apple Valley, up with the Minnesota connections. Troy died.
Yep.
He's like a kid wearing an adult size shoulder pads once in a while.
Alt's a man.
Dude, he's terrific.
He's a man. Yes, he is.
And all of that, but they got the quarterback situation figured out, which helps then guide that identity regardless of what's going on around. We need to do that. But it kind of feels 7 games in, you're still getting the penalties, man. I'm losing track of every single kick return. Miles Price runs 50 yards only to have to trot the offense back to the 20. The penalties, the mistakes. Is that kind of the identity of this team? Is the lack of consistency or the lack of identity?
I don't want to say you're wrong, because I think at this point in the season, that's what we are.
Yeah.
7 games in, this isn't like 3 games in. Who are we? This is 7 games in, and right now we keep seeing the same stuff over and over and wishing for a different result. I think when you go back to when the season started, I just said, and I know I said it on the show, is we can beat you multiple ways. We can run the football. We love our personnel. Our offensive line is rebuilt, restructured to run the football. We're going to protect this young quarterback. If he gets stuck in a 3rd and 5, he's going to roll out and beat you with his feet.
Yeah.
Almost none of those players I mentioned are playing football right now for us. 3 of the offensive line. We just got a running back, one of the running backs back. Our quarterback is not the quarterback that we started the season with. So that affects it. Defense, the pass game, elite pass catchers on the outside. If you can't give the quarterback time to sit back there, and this is not an indictment on the offensive line. I mean, injuries are real.
Injuries, I would actually say Carson has some timing issues, and he's been holding on to the ball. Decision-making has been poor at times as well. But the O-line's ravaged.
Yeah, and again,
getting around that.
Again, what's the route concepts that we're looking at to get the ball out of the hands quicker, since we know we have issues? Are we giving them a chance to succeed? So you got to look at that.
I'm giving them options nearer versus.
I'm not deep diving this thing because I've got 4 kids, but I'm just telling you right now, like if you look at it, like
sick brag.
I
only have 3.
Where are the options? Where are the options to get the ball out of Carson's hands quicker? What's his read? What's his look?
Yeah.
If you're giving him a 5-step and we need time, that hasn't happened, and he's holding the ball for that reason. That's a problem.
It is,
and we need to go find a matchup that we like early. Get the ball out of his hands. 1-2, boom, get it going, because that's just our life right now.
Yeah.
And
I would beg for a slant.
And then defensively, nobody would have guessed we were not going to be able to stop the run.
I did not see that coming.
You trade Harrison Phillips right before the season starts. You're thinking, okay, we must be good.
Yeah.
And now we sit here and say, again, you don't know, because when you go through training camp, you have the guys in the roster. You say, hey, this is who we have rolling into the season. We got to make the best decision for the organization, the money, the whole piece that goes together. But all of a sudden now that's become a massive issue. Yep. We can't get off the field because they're constantly in 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s rather than 3rd and 8s and 9s, because we can't play on 1st and 2nd down.
Yeah.
And that's just unfortunately the truth. So to your point, that's sort of who we are.
Ugh. 3-4, the Vikings just get absolutely housed by the Chargers last night, 37-10. Vikings conversation throughout, text message. This one, I love this, 64686. Hardest hit of the game was Hargrave running into the referee. See that last night?
Yes.
Oh, and did you see the ref, like his hat was laying on the turf, and it was almost like he was expecting Hargrave to turn around and give it to him? Like, hey, I mean, that would
be nice.
That would have been nice. But I appreciate the text. I got some talkbacks lined up as well. And it's all part of the Timber Tech set list. We're going to hit some Gophers, Iowa, of course, with Hawkeye alum Chad Greenway in studio for one more short segment. And then Ryan Burns, Gopher Illustrated, he's going to be here at 10 a.m., so we'll hit it even harder there. And then PA, late return via the flight home from L.A., he's going to jump in studio at 11, and we're going to continue this conversation and break this thing down. That's the Timber Tech set list, brought to you by TimberTech, timbertech.com. Devin Ward is producing 9 to noon today, and he's got a cash giveaway opportunity.
That's right, Noro. The Fan and 2 Men in a Junk Truck want to give you a shot to win some bonus bucks with our national cash contest. Enter the keyword GRAND at KFAN.com now for your shot at winning. That's keyword GRAND. Enter it now at KFAN.com.
Welcome back, 9 to noon. One more segment with Chad Greenway.
Man, are you lucky? 2 segments today.
2 segments today. I appreciate you doing it. And I think you're a bit lucky, too, getting to hang out in the studio.
Absolutely.
I saw you doing TV last night. I was trying to figure out, like, okay, this thing is just an absolute bleep show.
How did I do?
I thought you were awesome.
Did it look like
Fox 9, it was Dawn, it was Rich, the gang's all here.
Yeah, those guys are
You had like the multi-camera with the light where you were.
They're pointing to cameras. I'm looking over here. We got Dawn reading off the teleprompter. I mean,
without losing a step.
Just pros.
No, absolutely. How do I dig into this? How do you maintain, because I saw this during Fan Line, and I'm not interested in putting this on the team at this stage, but the idea where at one point you felt like the spirit had been taken a bit with what you saw from the Chargers, and just an overall outclassed, outcoached, just dominating effort by the Bolts last night. And now you get this baby bye, a chance to recoup a little bit, and you're hoping Darisaw and some of these guys are fully healthy. But now turning that around and going to Detroit, like you mentioned, this is a great opportunity really to see what this 2025 team has. Couldn't agree more. And I'm also, just even from a coaching standpoint, I know 2023 was weird when Kirk popped the Achilles at Lambeau. We got the Dobbs thing that didn't work, and Jaron Hall, et cetera. I do think, though, given what was put into this season, that this was the big ta-da, Coach of the Year, got the kid raised, he's healthy, J.J. McCarthy. I think this is the first true adversity that he is seeing at a high level as a coach. And I don't want this to happen. I want the team to win every game, but now I'm really interested to see how Kevin O'Connell specifically handles this moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's going to be an opportunity for him as a still young football coach, head coach, how to steer the ship here. I mean, where do you go when you all of a sudden have a football team that's struggling? Yeah, you have personnel that just you can't poof, they're coming back.
Right.
How do you approach it? Who do you lean into? What are your leaders in the locker room? What's their response to it? What's your approach at practice next week? Like, are we going to be bad cop, good cop? Like, where are we going with that? Like, what's the accountability level going to be to guys who aren't doing things right? Coming down to, let's talk about the penalties. You want to go play penalty-free, turnover-free football in Detroit? You'll have a chance to win that football game. almost guaranteed.
Yeah.
When you go on the road and play clean, you give yourself a shot. I don't care if it's the Chargers last night or Detroit in 10 days. Like, how do we shore that up? Because that's a lack of discipline at the end of the day. And I can remember in training camp when we had undisciplined teams, like, day 10 of training camp and everybody's mad at each other and hates each other and we have all these penalties getting thrown. We're running around goalposts. We're doing things that high school teams do. And it was sort of like this idea of like, we got to focus.
Yeah.
It was a lack of focus and attention to detail. Listen, the bright lights, Thursday night football, you're a pro, man. Like, you got to show up. And again, I made those mistakes. But what's the accountability within the team saying, that's on me, I have to get better, or they're going to find a replacement for me?
Yeah.
And what's KOC is going to approach going to be like that? Because if you can just start simply there, play clean, turnover free, like when the wind go out of the sails last night, Carson Wentz interception, the overthrow on the over route. So that was basically, okay, game's over, here we go, right?
Man, what an awful throw.
But again, that was an awful throw. We can all admit to that one. But the reality is when you go in that environment, it's all hands on deck. We're the underdog. In this case, in Detroit, we are the underdog.
Oh, yeah.
Like, let's lean into that. And that's okay, right? Let's go over and play our style of football. What is that? Well, this week, we're going to be this football team. And we're going to go in Detroit. They're a physical team. They're a physical outfit. We're going to go punch them in the mouth, and we're going to run the football. And we're going to do it this way. And we're going to play free football, no penalties. Take care of the ball. I mean, start there.
Start there. No, I like that. And it's just, so much has been talked about in terms of the culture of this team and just, I mean, you couldn't get a bigger contrast right into this thing from Zim at the very end. Zimmer was never necessarily the most loving and friendly, cuddly person that ever existed. But at the end,
grumpy.
Wow. So you get that contrast there. But now, like, culture isn't really tested with victories and cool speeches in the locker room and things like that. Culture is really tested during moments like this. So in 10 days, being able to turn it around.
I was thinking from a schematic standpoint, just to clamp on you there, simplicity. Go back to fundamental football. Go back to simple and see if you can accomplish simple over and over and over again consistently.
I keep getting these text messages. Apparently,
what did we do wrong?
Well, audio was used into the Thursday night football pregame last night.
Okay.
So during like their opening package on Prime. And at first, like, I felt so that we had like a camera crew that came to Egan to film PA doing the radio show. It's part of this video cut up. They do like this kind of time lapse up to the game and what they're saying. And Chargers had lost 3 of 4. What's going on with this thing? Can we get the run game going with Vidal, et cetera? Can we get healthy? But they ended up not using the PA video, and it was just a video, an audio clip of me going, we got to hit our freaking receivers. I need my quarterback to hit the open guys. So I had no idea that was happening, and now I'm just getting
somebody please clip that out.
I'm just getting some text messages, but then I heard it, and it was just like, well, they kind of make me sound just like an angry Rube, which I guess at the time
guilty as charged. I mean,
ripping that from fan line, I'm just, I was frustrated.
It's okay to expect your quarterback to make that throw. It's okay for you to expect that linebacker to make that tackle because that's his job and that's what he does, especially when it looks so fundamental and so elementary for these guys. And, you look at that throw and say, that was not a hard throw. He was not under pressure.
No.
There was really nothing there. He just airmailed it. And it's just the reality we're in right now, boys. So, hey, lick your wounds. You move on. You fly back. I don't care about your red eye. You pull. Hey, listen.
Come on.
You get the pants back on tomorrow and you go to work. Lunch pail.
Who's going to work on Saturday? As in tomorrow at 2:30. I'm going to get into this more with Bernsey, but really the way the Big Ten is constructed, Iowa had the chance to win the West for a while just to have the great honor of getting smacked.
That was fun. Remember those days?
Yeah, Ohio State and Michigan dropping 60 on you guys in the conference title game, and now with the new construction, very top heavy, right? And Iowa and Minnesota, I think, respectively, would be in kind of that upper middling spot within the Big Ten where, we can get ourselves to 8-9 wins and talk about bowl games and such, but really, as of now, it's just not realistic from a playoff perspective. So rivalry games matter, right? And from a Gophers side of things, you like what we're doing to Nebraska all the time. I think it's 5 or 6 in a row with PJ.
Who doesn't like that one?
Oh, it's beautiful. Absolutely.
we could all be on board with that one.
We may have just sent Matt Rule to Penn State after what we did to Dylan Raiola and the whole Patrick Mahomes cosplay thing he has going on down there.
I have a hard time and a lot of opinion on that we can't talk about here.
But it's crazy. His dad is like an all-time lion.
Yeah.
Like Dominic Raiola was terrific in the NFL. Absolute stud and a pretty good Husker as well. But we don't like the Huskers, so we don't like that. But Gophers beating up on Nebraska. I think it's 3 of the last 4 or something like that in terms of the Axe. This pig, though. Mm-hmm. This pig has been a problem. This pig has been elusive. This pig is PJ running around in a mud pen trying to catch this squealer, and he can't ever catch it, save for, of course, Cooper DeJean. He messed up.
Yeah.
Cooper DeJean messed up. And the 12-10 thriller a couple years ago at Kinnick.
Yep.
What do you think, 10,000-foot view of the Hawkeyes? They got the kid, I think South Dakota kid came down.
Yep, SDSU.
Hasn't really put it up through the air quite yet, maybe is what is expected, but he's using his legs. You got, I think it's Moulton or somebody. Yep. There's a running back that's pretty, you guys always have a running back.
Yeah.
There's falling out of your pockets. The defense is pretty good. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think the reason this has been a harder get for PJ in a rivalry series, because what has it been? Maybe we've won 8 out of 10, something like that, something in that range, is because of our style of play.
You're 9-1 in your last 10 against the Gophers. So
9-1. Yeah. So, I can't remember because I was 4-0 against the Gophers back in the day. The Maroney Barber bit. The Maroney Barber bit, man, that line was good though. That zone blocking scheme, I hit the Wayback Machine. That zone blocking scheme in the early 2000s the Gophers had was high level. And then you put Maroney and Barber back there. That
was a sweet tandem.
I think they ran for 300 on us in the Metrodome, and we won because they missed a field goal at the end.
For real?
That was my junior year. Ugh. But we couldn't stop them, and we were like a top 5 defense in the country. That's how good they were. But with this, when you're going to play an Iowa team, the way we win, especially these last 5 to 10 years, is we don't, again, talking about our Vikings, we just don't make a lot of mistakes. So you're not going to, you don't want to have a lot of penalties. You want to take care of the football. You want to create turnovers on defense and try to score on defense, special teams. Sometimes that's the only way we can score. And I think when you go play clean football, you become a really hard team to beat. I tell the story all the time. 4 years in Iowa City, I think we played like 3 defenses the entire 4 years. We just lined up and played. I mean, the reality was that we were going to line up and do something very, very simple, and you can scheme us all you want, and then what you want to do is you want to go out and just make the plays that come at you and be simple and be physical to the line of scrimmage. And we would always say, our whole saying when time was there was impose your will on people over and over and over and over again until somebody wilts. And that was our mentality. And there's a lot of that same mentality in Iowa City. Now, I think what PJ's built here is a team built on that. And the reason the Gopher fans are excited and should be is because you have a really talented young quarterback. You have a really big offensive line that's been playing well. You have a running game. Your defense is good. And this is a good football team. And I think this game, you kind of have teams that are at the exact same point. Is how is this season going to go? Is this going to be an 8, 9, 10 win season?
This is a good pivot point for both.
This is it, and PJ's looking for this. Can I go on the road and get a win again in Kinnick Stadium, which we know is how hard that is.
2 in a row. Though.
That would be tough.
They're 9.5 point dogs.
What?
Yeah,
I would hammer the under on that.
Well, it's the total. I mean, this is crazy. 39.5.
We have to score 10 points. That means at least
is the total, and we're 9.5 point favorites. So you got to win by 10.
That shocks me.
With a 39.5 total,
you look back at this series.
Grinder.
You look back at this series. The last 5, they've been a lot of tight football games.
Well, yeah, but our team just hasn't been able to score down there.
Yeah,
I mean that's really been the crux of it.
Last I checked, we don't score much either. So the fact that we're even 9-point favorites it's insane. It's going to be. I'm excited. Obviously, I'm Hawkeyes all day long. Love that program. Love that place. And the people that are still there from when I was there, when I entered college in 2001. So many great faces that are still there. It's going to be a really good football game, and expect it to be a true rivalry game.
That's sweet, man. Hey, anything good with Grey Duck before we part ways?
Man, everything's good at Grey Duck. You kidding me?
Always sunny days with the Duck.
We've been leaning into really hard this idea that we're so local from the start to finish, where we buy our corn, where we buy our juice, where we have it made in Burnsville, all Minnesota owned. And we want folks to lean into that. We have so many supporters. So we're pushing hard against folks that are out there buying products that aren't from Minnesota because we produce a high level product. Our vodka, our seltzer, and everything else we're producing.
It's all Minnesota.
So it's all Minnesota, and it's all good. And so we ask people to go into the store, walk past that aisle with the Texas-made vodka, and go buy yourself some Grey Duck. And
there we go.
You know, first of all, go do yourself a side-by-side taste test. And then when we win, go buy Grey Duck year after year, or day after day. How about that?
I dig that. That's Grey Duck. That's Chad Greenway at Chad Greenway52 via X. Thanks as always, brother.
You bet. Thank you.
Thank you. When we return, I got some talkbacks that I want to fire through from you, the listeners. 10 a.m. We'll get back into Gopher football with Ryan Burns at Gopher Illustrated. PA will be in studio at 11 o'clock. It's Nordo in for PA. For now, 9 to noon on the Fan.
Hey, Nordo, Max from Egan here.
Hey.
I said this team was average yesterday. I think I was being very generous.
Probably.
This team's awful.
Yeah.
Offensive line, holy cow.
Jeez.
I don't know how you can play offensive line your entire football career and be that bad. You get a rep every single snap, and you look that terrible. If we really think we're going to put J.J. McCarthy in this game against the Lions with Hutchinson, Anzalone, Jack Campbell running at him, he's going to be pulp. We're not going to have a quarterback. He's going to be decimated by the end of that game. See you later.
You know, Max, I tend to the injuries, the in and out, all of this, the offensive line has absolutely left us desiring more. The thing we were talking about on Fan Line last night, and it bears repeating here, is the kid's got to play. And the circumstance of the offensive line, whether it's Darisaw, he's unable to go. Donovan Jackson, who I think has been so far very good and will be a home run draft pick for the Minnesota Vikings. He showed his warts last night. And the thing at center, I mean, you bring in, you get rid of Garrett Bradbury. Best of luck to him in New England. And you feel good about Ryan Kelly as a veteran option and the concussions. So now he is on IR and maybe his season's done. I mean, that's the way we kind of frame it up, like real life may be more important to be considering right now than playing the game, making sure, the marbles are in the right spot upstairs. Will Fry's just been okay, recovering from injury, and then O'Neal's been in and out. It's not good enough. I agree with you. However, the kid's got to play. The quarterback in there right now, suffering maybe from bad O-line play. The quarterback has suffered from being off timing. The quarterback in there right now has suffered, of course, from the shoulder ailment, which, it seems like that has reached maybe its zenith of pain level, with him just unable to raise his own freaking arm in the midst of a game. How's that impacting the accuracy that I've been really frustrated with over the last couple of weeks? It has to play into it to some degree. Are there ribs? Are there other issues that we don't even know about with that quarterback? Holding on to the ball too long. The decision-making hasn't been good. The accuracy's been a problem. Throwing it to the other team. All those things kind of factor in. I keep, it's 3rd and short. What was the coach last night? Something during the presser. He wanted to establish the run, but he was worried about, getting stuck in a 3rd and long. Well, you had a 3rd and 1 at your 41. You had a 3rd and 2 at the 47. You passed both times. So that just, that statement isn't really kind of passing the test in terms of the issue with not establishing the run. Are you worried about running because the offensive line isn't going to move guys back? Well, are you worried about passing because your quarterback's getting hammered all the time? Still seeing some 5-step drops and some deeper developing routes. Haven't found a slant in like 4 weeks. There's a lot that goes into that, specifically with the offensive line. But feeling you, Max, in terms of the O-line needing to be so much better than what we've seen, but the kid's got to play. And Carson Wentz has in some ways served as a sacrificial lamb, and frankly, he's fallen apart. And just for humanity's sake, because he's not going to take himself out, maybe we need to save him from himself.
Good morning, Nordo and Chad. Mike from Tampa.
Hey.
All injuries aside, we laid an egg.
Yeah.
But I think that this loss was a leadership loss. KOC absolutely was out-coached last night. The fact that he kept Carson Wentz in and the guy could barely move his arm was pathetic. I love KOC, but he screwed up last night, and I think that there needs to be some accountability on his part. He needs to hold himself accountable.
Yeah, he mentioned last night he didn't have his team prepared to play. And I would say at this stage, him vocalizing that is probably the most amount of accountability that you're going to hear from him or any head coach, not even Kevin O'Connell specifically. We covered it earlier with Chad, but really just to kind of reemphasize. And it's, we'll play another talk back here momentarily that's kind of pointing in the same direction. On that 3rd and 2, we pass it. Ball's batted up in the air. Carson has to bat it down, maybe to keep it, who knows, fat guy interception. They're rare, but they can happen. Big guys in the middle with good hands. You never know. So Carson bats it down. He can't move his left arm. He's holding his elbow, and he's just in agony. That's where the experiment needed to end. Not because I don't like Carson, not because I don't appreciate the 701. Go buys in. Big one this weekend. I don't think you've won down in Sodak in a while. Maybe you'll do it this weekend. Best of luck. But it's not like I'm rooting against Carson. The guy is giving everything he has. He's a freaking Iron Man. But it needed to be done there. And it should have been, in my opinion, it should have been Brosmer for the remainder of the game. Another talk back.
Hey, Nordo, Jake from Shakopee here. My question is about Kevin O'Connell's inability to make in-game adjustments. He doesn't run the ball ever. 3rd and 1, instead of giving it to Jordan Mason to pick up 1 yard, he lines up our best receiver at running back, takes our backup injured quarterback on a play-action rollout, and surprise, surprise, it's incomplete.
Yeah, again, establishing, and we've seen it in the Eagles game, trying to get the run game moving. It was such a nice drive in the 3rd quarter. Sadly, it stalls out in the red zone, but those outside runs you saw from Jordan Mason there and establishing the runs. Again, the 3rd and short are things getting overcomplicated in some of those spots. And the play action, the rollouts, extending the time that Carson is holding onto the ball, not just him holding onto the ball too long, but the spots that we are putting putting him in from an offensive perspective. Problematic, to say the least. I got so many more talkbacks, but keep them firing here. 64686 is the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line, and then the free iHeartRadio app. You hit that microphone, give us up to your best 30 seconds. But around the corner, I want to bring in Ryan Burns as we deviate from the purple momentarily and chat about Floyd of Rosedale. The Pigs on the line tomorrow in Iowa City. Last time the Gophers were there, they were victorious. Can PJ make it 2 in a row? Why not? They're 10-point dogs almost on the road. Kinnick's a tough place to play. They bring in a QB who they think can throw the ball, still can't throw the ball, but they can run the heck out of the ball. Our defense just put a fat L on Raiola and the Huskers. Can they repeat that performance? Ryan Burns, Gopher Illustrated. We're going to chat about all of that as the second hour gets kicked off, 9 to noon on the Fan.